Ugh. When I light a cig, there's always a little puff of smoke that comes off. And sometimes, a lot of times, it just gets all up in my eyes. And you would think after decades of lighting cigs, I would be past such a, you know, obvious mistake like that. But no, it still happens remarkably often. I still get cig smoke in my eyes. A lot. Like when I don't want to. Sometimes I kind of want to because it's awesome. And it smells and tastes lovely. And you just want some in your eyes because you can taste it with your eyes. And it's good. I don't know exactly what I wanted to say, but I wanted to say something about how our society, American society, sucks big at educating people. Not so much in that it sucks at educating people, but it sucks at allowing people who want an education to get an education for free. And I will make a comparison here when I say this. In like the 50s, like after World War II, all the way up till like right before right before 1970. So like let's say 46 to 1970, 1946 to 1970, you could pretty much get a college education for free. I mean, it was functionally free. You had to take care of the little stuff. But other than that, compared to now, free. You might as well just be able to chalk it up as free. Um, and this is my argument. Other people can say different things. The reason for that was because we only offered it to white people. Um, it's true. Black and brown people still got educations, college educations, post high school educations. It did. But for the most part, it was only offered to white people. And even when it was offered to white people, it really, I mean, it was only offered to the white people who like deserved it. As soon as it was turned into a business, now all of a sudden, oh, you can do it, and you can do anything you want. You deserve an education. It's your American right. Blah 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 blah. All this bullshit kicks in. So, as soon as we have, then colleges start popping up. They're like, oh, the government will back your loan, and all this. But secretly behind that is, oh, there's a for-profit college opening up, and they'll teach you stuff. And it's just like, Yeah, but you know, go fuck yourself. Um, that's my point of view. My point of view is why do people need to pay for an education? I don't know. We don't charge people to get educated up to um, high school. We don't charge the end user of the education, is what I'm talking about. Of course, that education is crap, but you know, even a lot of private educations up to high school are mostly crap, but you get the point. And they could be much better up through high school, by the way. It's my opinion that you could probably educate a lot of kids, a lot more kids, um, up through a bachelor's degree, maybe even into starting a master's degree by the time they're leaving high school. Um, if you wanted to. Uh, because college stuff is not really that complicated. It just isn't. Uh, Plain and simple. It might be for some people, but it really isn't for most people. It's just reading. A lot of it, especially the humanities stuff, is just reading and reading comprehension. So if it's just humanities, it's like it's just a lot of reading bullcrap. So I think really the problem with the education system is that they're just throwing a lot of garbage at you and saying we wanna we want you to have this wide education, um, and take up your time doing this. Uh, and for the people that are kind of like me, that kind of are like, I have no idea what I want to do because for me, I don't want to do anything. I'm like, I'm like the main character in Office Space. If you gave me $1 billion in high school, all throughout high school and stuff, I would have no answer to the question of what do you want to do for the rest of your life. I would not have really had an answer for that question. I would have just been like, I would sit around and watch TV and play games, and that would be what I would do. And people would be like, you're not going to be a insert here person. I'd be like, no, I don't like doing jobs and shit. The thing I was ever interested in when I was young was I want to be an inventor. Like that's something that was kind of cool in my mind, like just randomly inventing stuff. But you know, if you're gonna be an inventor, is this, hmm, like that actually entails kind of a lot of work. And I'm not really a work type person. Like, it requires a lot of tinkering, and tinkering involves kind of a lot of work and a workshop. And again, not a lot of work type person. So yeah, um, I'm okay with having ideas and then delegating, but I mean more than that, eh. But if there are people that know what they want to do by the time they are at a certain grade level, I think the education system should be calibrated so that those individuals can start to specialize fairly heavily in those fields. Um, and we had in my high school, we had a few programs where kids could take AP, they could take AP Calc, AP Chem, AP Physics, you know, some, they didn't call it this, but AP math courses, you know, like AP Calc, like I said. But, in addition to that, there was some other math courses that were AP, but I forget what they were actually called. But it would just be more useful if you could take a lot of college courses in high school. So if universities would partner with local high schools so that the kids could get, you know, 2 or 3 or 4 years worth of college credits while they are in high school, then they could graduate high school with a college bachelor's degree right off the bat, and then they'd be good to go right there. They'd have some of them at least would have a bachelor's degree right off the bat in something. And we could completely, you know, cut that off right there. Or at the very least, we just, maybe you would have taken, you wouldn't have figured it out by junior year of high school, but you would have figured it out or maybe you wouldn't have figured it out by freshman year, but you would have figured it out by junior year. I missaid that, but whatever it might be. And maybe you think you're going down one path freshman year, and then you change your mind junior year. It happens. It happens especially when you're the age of the age you're at in high school. That's fine. If the colleges pair with the high schools, then the credits will be college level, so it won't matter. You'll still have college level credits for your classes. I think that would be a good thing. And, parents and teachers, but mainly parents, because the videos I see from teachers commenting say that essentially kids nowadays are getting more and more distracted or whatever, and their parents are not, how do I say, being supportive of the teachers. When the teachers say, your kid is disruptive and all they're doing is being on their phone or just shouting up or not paying attention or just asking them constantly to go to the bathroom so that they can be on their phone or whatever. And of course, those would be for schools that don't confiscate the phone, that don't have the policy of the teacher grabs the phone, something phone. Because there are a lot of videos about, teachers being all up in arms about phones in classrooms. So I don't know what it is for every school. That problem wasn't around when I was going to high school at all. It was the whole phone thing. Phones were just starting to get into our hands like senior year when I was in high school. And I don't know, I don't think I even had one. I think only a few of my friends had a cell phone senior year. And the rich kids had cell phones, but only a few of my friends had cell phones. So it's it just was not an issue. So I can't really, all I can say is nothing helpful. It would seem the phones should be good learning aids, but I'm coming at it from, I have a computer and my computer would be a decent learning aid if I was using a computer in a classroom, because I would be able to, if I was in a classroom, use the computer as a learning aid while I was in the classroom, and have at least a tiny bit of self-restraint and do what I'm told in the fucking classroom. But, that's just me coming from my era of being, you know, being in that time. You know, the time when you had to like, so I don't know. Um, Now I guess the kids' parents don't want to deal with being like it. You know, if your teachers say you're not paying attention, I'm gonna take your phone away from you because parents don't want to discipline their kids or something. Which, yeah, you know, why don't you just do that for a day? Just take your phone away from your kids for a day. I mean, watch Modern Family. It worked pretty good against the Modern Family kids for a little while. Of course, it worked pretty good against Phil and Claire on the show, too. So, you know, you have to make sure you don't make that same kind of situation with yourself. But, and, you know, just take the phone away from your kids as a punishment for them. Um, uh, but there you go. Yeah. Oh, I got this thing busted up on me as I fell down over there. Gashed myself somewhere. I don't know where, but I cut my thing all up. I don't know on what. A sharp corner somewhere. Probably this. Anyways. Need better education. And I would suggest we need lots more money in ciencia. Lots more human science stuff. So there we go. It's just a thought. And tax rich people, kneecap rich people, boobs.